welcome to you all. Thanks indeed for being here. Just a reminder that we are on air, and that's the sign up there that welcome those that may be listening at home or in the office or wherever you may be. And mobiles, if you could switch them off, as it does interfere with our recording, and especially for those that may be listening as well. I think that's it. If you please be seated. Thank you. I have the one apology. Alderman Cox, there's an apology. Declaration of interest. Any declaration of interest? Confirmation of minutes. Moved for the previous meeting, 13th of August. Moved Alderman Mackenzie, seconded Deputy Mayor. All those in favour, please raise your hand. And that is all aldermen present. That is carried. We have no deputations, no petitions, no community reports. So public question time, not on notice. Public questions without notice? Just state your name and address for the records, thank you.
Ronald Baines, 14 Malunga Street, Kings Meadows, Ratepo. Around 2 years ago, this council borrowed $9 million to allow Errol Stewart to build a parking area adjacent to the C.H. Smith building. Sometime later, I asked this council how this debt will be repaid and in what time frame, and I was informed parking revenue from this car park would repay the loan in the 5-year time frame. Since then, no revenue has been collected due to the building being incomplete. My question is, will this council need to borrow money to finalise this debt? And if so, will this also be interest-free? Incidentally, the repayments over the remaining 3-year period amounts to $215,000 per month for a complex that is not generating any cash flow. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. The loan, $9 million, as you say, is interest-free, and that is starting from, has it already happened, the loan?
It's going to be paid on 2022.
Yeah, so we've got to 2022. We've got some long, it's a 9-year loan, isn't it? 7 years, sorry. It's a 7-year term. We still believe that by the time the car park will be ready, which should be in the next 6 months or so, we'll start getting the revenue and we'll have 6 years to pay, to accumulate funds to pay that loan off.
Okay, thank you.
Basil Fitch, Waveney Street, Launceston. Wasn't that 5-year loans, not 7?
No, it was a 7-year special.
60 million was for 5 years?
You sure? Yeah. Okay, 5 years. Anyway, I thought the previous general manager was trying to accumulate 7 years, so I apologise if I've said that it is 5 according to...
Thank you. Still got a good memory, haven't I?
You have? We did talk 7 because I can guarantee.
The workshops, can Mr City Manager tell me, are they closed workshops?
Yes.
Are they open to the public?
No, they're not open to the public, they are closed.
They're closed council?
No, they're not closed council, they're closed workshops.
Well, what do you mean closed workshops?
Well, it's where people from outside the community want to come and talk to the alderman and they want to do that in a closed environment. Or it's where we have an issue that we're debating and discussing and wanting to work...
Have you read the summary of 2015 under section 2324, which you forgave and Dubrinsky forgave, and went to workshops? If you read workshops, it says that they're only to be open to the councillors or others to come in and ask questions, not make decisions.
We don't make decisions. We never make a decision in a workshop.
Well, why is it when you're walking in and 12 of you put up your hand and don't even debate anything?
Well,
anyway, that's beside the point.
Anyway.
But they're not open to the public.
They are not, no, correct.
No.
Thank you.
Another closed council. So the other quick question is, I'll get out of your way, I read somewhere $11,000 for cutlery. What is $11,000 for cutlery?
I'm not sure, General Manager. We don't know. If you can show us where you read that.
Well, my son read out the agenda last night to me.
I would have to follow that up for you.
And have a look, because it must be 7 carat gold cutlery that you're getting, I don't.
Oh, we can
Yeah,
answer
but
that.
also-
Sorry, we have an answer for you right now.
I can advise
Director?
that the cutlery was purchased along with other plates and that sort of thing for the Albert Hall Function Centre. So it was part of the leasehold arrangement with the tenants at the Albert Hall Function Centre that we provide those sorts of assets.
We're paying for the cutlery for the Albert Hall.
They are council
And then
assets,
we sell
yes.
out to private enterprise. What next are you going to do on this count?
Thank you. Any other questions? Nope, thank you very much. So under the provisions of the Land Use Planning and Approvals Act, Council acts as a planning authority in regard to items under Agenda 8. And the first one is item 8.1. We do have a speaker for 8.1. General Manager, if you could read out the rules, thank you.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Only residents, ratepayers or people on the electoral roll of the City of Launceston may address an item on the agenda. Before commencing, please state your name and address or property owned in Launceston. You may speak for up to 2 minutes. There will be no extensions of time permitted. You must speak for or against the recommendation, not ask questions of aldermen or officers or attempt to enter into debate with aldermen or officers. Statements can only be made either directly relating to supporting the recommendation or arguing against it. Comments and statements are not to be defamatory, offensive or abusive or be designed to embarrass any person, including aldermen or officers. Statements are not to be repetitive of statements or points already made. Several people repeating a common position should nominate a single speaker on their behalf. The Mayor may ask a member of the gallery to cease speaking if the above procedures are not followed. Following hearing the comments of the gallery, Alderman will then consider the item.
Thank you, General Manager. Jackie Hamilton.
Hi, I'm Jackie Hamilton and I'm here on behalf of my family.
Excuse me.
Yep.
If you're going to sit there, please keep quiet and don't talk. It's rude. We gave you time to speak before. Thank you.
I'm here on behalf of my family in regards to our application to build on 38A Hill Street. We purchased the block in November and we did 2 searches at the time to see if there were any covenants, restrictions, etc. on the block. At both stages we found that there were no restrictions as in regards to heritage type building or anything like that. Again, we contacted the council when we were coming up with our concept and we were again advised that there were no restrictions as to what we could build. So from then we went ahead and got our plans drawn up. We have got a modern facade, but at the same time we've also been respectful of the houses around us. We've actually stipulated that the cladding, top level cladding and the roofing are the same colours of the existing homes around us. The lower level is vintage bricks of cream, grey and white, which is the 3 colours of all homes around us. We comply with the building envelope, we comply with the planning scheme. Yeah, there's not much more I can say really, but yeah, we've crossed all our T's and dotted all our I's, and yeah, we just would appreciate your support so we can move forward.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
let's move Alderman McKenzie. Is there a seconder? Alderman Finlay? Alderman McKenzie, do you wish to speak to it?
I do, thanks Mr Mayor, and I'd like to commend the applicant in regards to the way they've actually dealt with this application. They put the application in, there were some setback issues and a number of other things that were raised by their neighbours and other people who spoke against it or represented against the property. They've now put everything back inside the envelope. I think there's one small discretion that's required. I think the major issue appears to be in relation to it not being a heritage building where there are heritage buildings surrounding it. As the Speaker made comment, there is no heritage listing on the site, and therefore as a consequence that is not something that we can actually determine in relation to the property. I think it meets all areas of the planning scheme, and therefore we should approve that today.
Thank you, Alderman McKenzie. Alderman Finlay? Any other Alderman wish to speak? Alderman McKenzie wish to close. I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please raise your hand. And that is all Aldermen present. That is carried. Move on to 8.2. Moved Alderman McKenzie, was it? Is there a seconder? Alderman Kendrick? Wish to speak to it, Alderman McKenzie?
Again, I think this is a relatively straightforward application, particularly having cited the property today and looking at the easement that actually the council's been granted in relation to the property. I guess the biggest issue is the potential impact against residential properties in the area. At the moment, it's only for a subdivision and there is no actual building that's been designed or planned for the block of land. As a consequence of that, that would be a matter that we would decide at another time should such an application come before us.
Thank you. Alderman Kendrick.
I'd love to have a debate with the Mayor. It's been requested by some people that we don't seem to. But I'd just like to say that this is an issue that's just come before us this week. It hasn't been discussed before that I'm aware of. And I agree entirely with Alderman Mackenzie's comments there. I can't say much more. And I think we have our officers, along with the people, I think, that backed onto part of the subdivision area. The easement is quite large, and I think that's taken away a few concerns that they did have. When the development application, if and when that comes in, that'll be decided, Mr Mayor. So at the moment it's just a subdivision of land.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Alderman Mackenzie, wish to close? I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please raise your hand. And that is all aldermen present. The motion is carried. 8.3. Someone happy to move? Moved. Alderman Finlay, thank you. Is there a seconder? Alderman Williams. Do you wish to speak to a question? Alderman.
Can I have a question? I think I stand corrected if haven't. Oh, I've already got that. Well done. Anticipation, you see, Alder. Hopefully I read it correctly. I believe when we printed that, and afterwards there was a mediation taking place, but I haven't heard what the outcome of that was between that and the representatives originally.
Director.
Thanks, Mayor. Yes, a mediation has taken place, and the applicant has agreed to some minor to
I understand
what's recommended
What did the representatives' attitude to that?
The representatives weren't a party to the appeal. Only the applicant was a party to the appeal.
Thank you very much.
Alderman Finlay, do you wish to speak? Alderman Williams. Any alderman wish to speak? Question, Alderman Gibson.
So, just so we clearly understand, given that the gallery was full on that particular day with representatives to that particular development application, would they be aware, having not read the agenda, would they be made aware of the appeal and the outcomes of that subsequent mediation process?
Director Hurst.
Yeah, so at the process when the appeal first came up, all the representatives were let know that they were able to be party to that appeal. Had they chosen to do so, they were made aware of every step from there. As they chose not to, as not party to the appeal, they're not made aware of each step. But as I understand it, there is still contact going on unofficially with those representatives, but they haven't been kept up to date with all these processes as they weren't party to the appeal.
Thank you. Alderman Gibson, another question?
So, a question almost outside the planning realm of what we're discussing now. Does that fit with our kind of values as an organisation, that is to bring our community along with us?
Manager, do you wish to comment?
Yes, we're in a statutory process and you're being provided with professional advice as how to administer that statutory process, and you have to do that without obviously they were given the ability to participate in the appeal process. They've chosen not to. The council still has a legal obligation to provide direction in respect to how we wish to proceed with that. We can certainly contact them and advise them in terms of the decision of the council today, because clearly that would need to go back to the tribunal. But nonetheless, you know, I guess we can only follow the process as it's laid out in the Act.
Question, Deputy Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor. Given that I think this one was probably the second, third, maybe even fourth time we dealt with a similar type of matter, and I would assume other councils around the state have similar types of matters as well. Has there been any more information come from the Minister's office on this type of situation to us?
Thank you, Deputy Director Hurst.
Thanks, Mayor. We, LGAT, other councils have had conversations with the current Minister and the previous Minister. However, the policy, the state government policy on PD 4.1 is what stands and what sits in people's planning schemes currently as a result of state policy, and that's what we have to deal with. I will say that the new state provisions are no different. In fact, they're slightly, they provide less flexibility for councils, but the next part of the planning reform is to look at the full suite of planning policy for state government. We're not to that stage yet, but certainly we have, and we'll continue to make representations.
Alderman Williams, question?
Thank you, Mayor. Given that part of the issue was outside beyond the scope of the development application itself in terms of the issues around the street and parking, I'm just seeking clarification or confirmation based on the information that we have in our papers, that has actually taken place with officers going out and reviewing and talking with residents as a separate process beyond the application before us.
Director Hurst.
Thanks, Mayor. It is a separate process, you're right. It's, but we were aware that some of the representatives had expressed some concern about traffic and parking on the street. Officers have been out to assess the site from infrastructure services. I don't know at this stage how much consultation has been undertaken, but as indicated in the report, there are some few, but some options that could be looked at further.
Thank you. Any other speakers or questions? Alderman Finlay, do you wish to close? I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please raise your hand. Those against? That's four against. The rest 4, the motion is carried. We now no longer sit as a planning authority. We do go on to Mayor's announcements. There's just a few that I do want to mention. Obviously, on Tuesday the 14th, it was a pleasure to go to the 7 Little Australians, and thanks to Alderman Gibson and Stage Right for a fantastic performance. Did an absolutely amazing job. Really appreciate the work that you put into it, but the talent of those young people is absolutely amazing. So congratulations and very well done. And it was on a Saturday the 18th, I did go to the Vietnam Veterans Day. I saw Alderman Mackenzie and Alderman Wood were there. I'm not sure if any others were there on that day, but it was, just want to report to the staff, General Manager through you, that they are very thankful, and to the Aldermen, they are very thankful for the support they get from this council, the support they've had for Vietnam Veterans Day, the support they get through our staff, in particular Elizabeth Clark, I don't know where that came from, but Elizabeth Clark. So I'm very appreciative of that support, so we could pass that on. I'll obviously tell Elizabeth when she comes back, but to all the other staff that are involved, very appreciative are the Vietnam veterans for the support. And also on Wednesday the 22nd, I did attend the Northern Tasmanian Junior Football Association Best and Fairest, and just from that organisation, they are very appreciative of the grounds that Council provides for them to play their sport on, their football, and we know that it's obviously quite a large number in the Launceston area, so they really appreciate the support from this Council. And on Sunday, and I know some of the other aldermen probably went as well to see the finals, which was played by the junior football. It was great to go down and watch some of the juniors play, and their abilities is absolutely fantastic. Some of them in the under-16s and under-15s are very skilled young footballers, and looking forward to them coming on and playing AFL, no doubt, one day as well into the future. But they, again, just want to pass on thanks for the use of the facilities, and they really loved playing. The kids just really enjoyed playing on UTAS Stadium as well. They thought it was fantastic. And then went to, along with Alderman Finlay, to the City Park AGM on Saturday, and it was a real pleasure there to also say a few words, but they are very, very appreciative to Council for the support that Council has given them, especially with the renewal of the lease. So to the Aldermen, they are very thankful for renewing the lease, and to the staff, thank you for the work that we continue to do, looking after the properties as well. So they're appreciative of all the work that this Council is doing with them as an organisation. So thank you. That's it from myself. Alderman reports. Alderman Mackenzie.
To pick up on the Vietnam veterans, and I have to say, I started writing a post in relation to that afterwards. Then I thought, no, it's not appropriate to actually write a post about it, but I just wanted to commend the returned soldier who actually spoke at that event. And I guess I probably, as a person who's never been to war, to sit there and listen to somebody talk about his experience actually in the battlefield and having shells whistling over the top of him in a war that nobody wanted to be at was really quite enlightening and quite moving actually in relation to that. So I just wanted to thank that gentleman for the words that he made, because certainly as a person who's never been to war, it made me much more fully appreciate what they go through.
Thank you. Any other Alderman reports? Alderman Alexander. Oh, Alderman Finlay, go first. No, Alderman Alexander.
Just quickly, thanks, Mayor. The Heritage Advisory Committee met last week and were able to receive a presentation from Paul Davies in terms of the building heights. I wanted to use that as an opportunity to recognise that we had about 60 people in the Town Hall last week for that forum, and I think it's important that we can reinforce wherever possible that there's an extension of that for 14 days from the date of the forum, I think to the 2nd or 6th or something of September, and encouraging people obviously to participate and respond to that report.
Thank you. Any other Alderman report? Deputy Mayor.
Only just briefly, just to highlight something which may have slipped through the radar with all the other happenings of the last few days. Northern Tasmania are the proud owners of the state netball premiership. So I think that the Northern Hawks deserve some special kudos for that. I think it's a terrific achievement.
Thank you. Alderman Mackenzie.
I thought it was a question, but it's not. I just wanted to, I've just the last week or so, I've actually taken an opportunity to wander through the mall and speak to a few of the shop owners in regards to how they found the actual mall development going on as far as their effects on it. And to be fair, you know, yes, it was very noisy early on when the ditch witches were in, but they were very complimentary of the way Lisa Brady and our team have actually dealt with the mall traders. You know, I asked them how it impacted their trade, and some said they were up and down. They, you know, not significantly, but enough down, you know, to be of concern, but certainly appreciated the work that's been done. And actually, most of them were saying very much looking forward to the finished product being open. And I think this Sunday, I think we actually open one half of the mall for Father's Day, I think, which means it's open. I think there's actually an alleyway through the middle now. So I think just it's a good operation in public relations, I think, the way that we've done this. Yes, they've understood that there's been some discomfort, but it's been interesting. Some of the retailers have actually used some unique ways of going. They've actually sent emails out to their database and suggested they might come in and have a look at their stock and various things like that. So it shows that sometimes adversity brings some thought of how you might actually improve your business. So I think all in all, you know, whilst yes, some were saying no difference to their trade, a lot of them accepted, yes, their trade was down a bit, but were accepting of what had gone on other than the noise that had happened in the early part of the reconstruction. So I think, you know, in a difficult situation, job well done by the council and the contractors who are doing the work.
Thank you. Alderman Finlay.
I've been encouraged by a fellow alderman to, again, use this opportunity to perhaps be a bit tenuous with my relationship with the City of Council and mention the Tornadoes basketball team if possible. On the 18th that you mentioned, Vietnam Vets and others, that was the grand final for the Seagull League, and Torns obviously went away with Hobart Chargers representing Tasmania both in the men's and the women's. Although we shot 96 points, we didn't quite make it for the grand final, but we definitely showed up and had a great game and ended the season in a fantastic game of basketball, where they've got a leading shooter shooting 43 points and built very solidly and playing a great game. It's hard to get around that, but you know, we did Launceston proud. I want to acknowledge that today. We want to acknowledge obviously everyone that travelled, that came to the game and also supported us from home and online. It was streamed and heavily supported, and for the Chargers to support us while we were playing and for us to support them at the same time. And I want to allay any concerns in the community that the Tornadoes won't have a league to play in 2019. We will absolutely be playing in Australia's Premier Winter League. We will have a team. We will not and have not any forward agenda of having a men's team. We support our relationship with the North West Thunder, as we do with the Chargers. When we're in the off-season, we all work very well together. When we're in the in-season, we compete hardly. But did just want to recognise with the encouragement of my colleague the great season that the Tornadoes basketball had, and thank the community for their support.
Thank you. Well done to the Tornadoes. They did have a very successful year, so well done. Alderman Alexander.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, thank you, and also thank you to the General Manager for this opportunity for me to speak to my fellow esteemed aldermen around the table, and also allow me to say a few kind words of gratitude to the great staff of the Launceston City Council that are here in the chamber today, but also for, of course, our ratepayers that are listening in to our live stream. So, Mr Mayor, today is a little sad for me. Today will be my last day as an alderman of this great city. I provided a letter of resignation to the General Manager this morning, and with more detail, but I strongly feel that I owe to all the aldermen and the staff here in the chamber and to the ratepayers listening in at home and work for the reasons that I've come to this difficult decision. Some of you have been aware over the past 12 odd months that I've spent a lot more time in Hobart, on an average of 3, sometimes 4 days a week. My new business that I started about 16 months ago is going very well, actually very well, so much that it has forced me to make this decision along with my beautiful wife, Julie Alexander, wanting to be closer to her family, especially her father, who lives in Hobart. But Mr Mayor, I wanted to let everyone in Launceston know that I truly have enjoyed my time on the Launceston City Council, and more importantly, I've enjoyed working with all of you, elected aldermen, throughout this term. I know I haven't always agreed with each other, and we've often had rigorous debate, but the one thing I think a lot of councillors around Tasmania could learn from this council, we have always respected each other. And I really believe that that is why this group of aldermen will go down in history as being one of the most collegiate group of people that have achieved so much in this 4-year period for the City of Launceston. We've all worked very hard with the city's progress in mind. No individual agendas, no political bias, just getting on with improving outcomes for the ratepayers and quite often the broader reach of northern Tasmania as a whole. So once again, to all the council staff and directors, all the aldermen, the gatekeepers of this great city, thank you. I wish all of you that decide to contest this coming local government elections all the very best. Importantly, to all those ratepayers that voted for me, I truly thank you. I did my best, and I always worked for the betterment of the city, and I've really enjoyed the ride. Thank you, General Manager, and thank you, Mr Mayor. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that. Thank you for all you have done for our city. It's been a pleasure to have you on our council. We look forward to whatever you have when you move on, but we really do appreciate working with you over the last 4 years as well. Okay. No, we're just finished. If you've got 2 minutes.
Seconds, to be perfectly honest. I'd just like to say to Alderman Alexander that before him being elected to council, I had very little knowledge of Darren Alexander. But over the last 4 years, I now know Darren Alexander. And I think that it's been a great 4 years. And Darren, I think you have worked very hard for the city and you've been very supportive of the developments that have happened in our city. And I think you should be very proud of doing that and being part of this organisation and part of the aldermen around this table. I agree with you. Some others here may not agree, but I think the last 4 years have been excellent for the City of Launceston, and it has progressed with jobs and economics that it hasn't done for quite a while. So I thank you for that. I will miss your humour, and I mean that in a very nice way. I wish you well in whatever you do from now on, which I'm sure will be somewhere very important, as I know that you will be always being important whatever you do and do it well. So thanks, Darren, for your time, and it really has been appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on. Committee reports. 12.1, tender review committee. Oh, questions. Sorry, I apologise. Questions by Alderman. Alderman, sorry, I'll take that back.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I was hoping I was going to get a chance to ask a couple of questions.
Yeah.
For the record, I've never thought Alderman Alexander's been very funny at all. I just wanted to ask a question. I've sort of seen a few notes out and about and talks about the halls of secrecy and why we do things in closed council and why we don't do things. But I just wanted, given we're having a particular matter today, the Albert Hall, I'd just like to ask the director why we didn't go out for expressions of interest on the lease of the Albert Hall and why some elements of this item are in closed council and some in open council.
Thank you. Director.
A decision was made to seek an expression of interest as the most appropriate way to procure this lease for 3 reasons. It's a commercial lease and it's quite normal in commercial leases where a tenant is fulfilling the terms of their lease to renew the lease. Secondly, the lease is unusual in that it runs concurrently with the licence for the Albert Hall, and the tenant has done an excellent job over the past 5 years in increasing the events there from a handful to 150 a year, or over 150. And thirdly, the previous process included an EOI, and the previous tenant found it uneconomical and to manage the hybrid business and handed the lease back to council. So on that basis, we decided in these circumstances not to have an EOI.
Thank you.
Just there was the other elements to why we're discussing some things in private. Yeah, close council.
It's a commercial and confidence situation. We don't wish to make public the private negotiations between council and a tenant where we have a commercial lease.
Thank you. Another question? Yeah, third one.
Director Hurst, if I could, just in relation to the item earlier in regard to Gilmore Close, we talked about, I think, at PD4, which is the element in the planning scheme which sort of gives us limited opportunity to deal with matters relating to unit developments in and around the city. I'm just questioning, is the council lobbying for the state government to change that, and has Legat doing that in relation to the thing? Because I guess we've had a number of situations over my time in council in the last 3 or 4 years since PD4 came into being, where we've probably been in a position where we've had to approve unit developments where maybe they would be better not to be.
General Manager will answer that.
So the answer to the question is, have we lobbied strongly in the past to see it change? The answer to that is yes, we have, unsuccessfully. Obviously, this council was very strongly opposed to the, I guess, the watering down of the controls that we had in respect of densities in the prior planning scheme. Made that case strongly at the time that the PD4 was considered by the government, and basically our concerns were overruled at that time. So we haven't been flogging a dead horse, so to speak. So we haven't gone back to government to revisit that in more recent times. But clearly, if the council are of a view that they wanted us to do that, we certainly can.
Any other questions from Alderman? We'll move on then. Committee reports. 12.1, Tender Review Committee. Moved, Alderman Mackenzie. Seconded, Alderman Finlay. Just to speak to it.
Just that the items are very clear on what we've given a tender for and how much we've paid for it.
Thank you. Alderman Finlay. Any other Alderman wish to speak? I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please raise your hand. That's all Aldermen present. The motion is carried. We go to council workshops, and I believe you'd like to speak to it? Or? Oh, you're right now. Okay, cool. Just checking. Thank you. So, council workshops, any there for those that want to know? Any comments? No? No notice of motions. We go on to Albert Hall lease, 16.1. Moved, Deputy Mayor. Seconded, Alderman Kendrick. Do you wish to speak to it, Deputy Mayor?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. All very, very straightforward, and the report goes through very, very clearly, highlights what we're dealing with today. I guess in moving this, one of the things I think, and Director McIsaac made reference to it with regards to Alderman Mackenzie's question before, is the fact that the operators have been doing a terrific job there. A number of aldermen around this table, and I'm sure many in this room would remember back in the dark old days of years ago, where ratepayers, visitors would be contacting the council, contacting aldermen, that there wasn't a facility down in that part of the wonderful park to grab a coffee or a sandwich or something. I know during my time on here there were a couple of iterations of how that business was run, and it wasn't consistent, which was the problem. The new operator came in and has gone from strength to strength to strength. All you ever get is good reports. You go there and the place is thriving. They're always doing new things, and I'm very, very happy that this is before us today, and I'm very, very happy to support it. Thank you.
Mr Mayor, we've had a number of people, individuals, and even I think an organisation which is well known in the city try to attempt to do things down there, but it was all wrong. It didn't blend with what the area needed. because not only is it the Albert Hall as such, it's also the people that use the park, the families, the young children and everybody else. So these people, I believe, have been able to provide the good balance. And the balance has been able to, for the families in the park, being able to get across and buy a toasted cheese sandwich, which is what a lot of kids want. So I think that they've been excellent. They're the best that I've seen down there, Mr Mayor, and I just want to see them continue, so I'm very happy to support it.
Thank you. Any other Alderman wish to speak? Alderman Finlay.
I suppose it's appropriate just to reinforce the fact that we are making this decision in open council, that the elements of the decision are here disclosed in the report. It is only the commercial in confidence elements, the financial terms of the agreement, they're enclosed, and that would be how anybody would consider and deal with these matters in any other organisation. And so in order for the public to read through this document, to see the terms of the agreement in terms of why and how we're going through the process, is important that it is disclosed here publicly, and it is appropriate that only those commercial in confidence terms are maintained in the closed council agenda.
Thank you. Any other Alderman wish to speak? Deputy Mayor, you wish to close? I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please raise your hand, and that is all Aldermen present. The motion is carried. Move on to 18.1, Pedestrian and Bike Committee. Moved Alderman Mackenzie. Seconded Alderman Finlay. Do you wish to speak, Alderman Mackenzie?
I think the report says it all there, really. I guess, we're a very active committee.
Thank you. Alderman Finlay. Any other Alderman wish to speak? I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please raise your hand. And that is all Aldermen present. The motion is carried. We move on to 18.2, on-street dining. Moved Alderman Finlay. Seconded Alderman Mackenzie. Alderman Finlay, do you wish to speak?
Thanks, Mayor. Briefly, I do want to speak to this item, and as with the previous item, all of the details are disclosed here in terms of the status quo position that we're moving from and into the new way of approaching the on-street dining. So all of the details are here to be disclosed and understood. My comment is more about the process that we approach this with. So often in local government, we provided free feedback that we don't sort of move with the times, or that we make something that's already awkward more awkward, or intervene and over-regulate in ways that are possibly impractical or that get in the way of people having good experiences. And I was actually really pleasantly, not necessarily surprised, but impressed, let's use those language, that we were able to say what we've got at the moment wasn't necessarily working for the best outcomes of the city in the way that we can activate and experience those elements of the community that people enjoy more, and that are driving not only local amenity but also tourism experiences. And so where we're now able to say, let's start with a white piece of paper and what is the best outcome here to achieve for the vision that we've got for our city, that we're able to start from scratch. And it's very bold to do that. I think it's courageous to do that. And we get a far greater outcome than trying to tweak the edges of something that wasn't quite practical. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and let you and the team know that I think it's a really good outcome.
Yeah, I just reiterate the comments made by Alderman Finlay. I think that this process has been really well done. The community responded very positively towards it, as in all the people that were spoken. I think Corey has gone out and asked lots of open questions to all of the people, and they told him honestly what they thought of it when they went out and did it. As a consequence of that, we've come back, we've learnt a better way of engagement, I think, in relation to some of our commercial users and what works for them and what doesn't. But along the line, we've tried to look at everything else as well. We've tried to make sure that the people who have access issues in and around the city have been dealt with appropriately by actually taking it to the Access Committee and asking their views in relation to things. So it's been a very broad consultation to try and cover off all of the areas where we might come unstuck if we didn't do a full adoption. So I'm very in support of it, because I think that clearly they've listened, heard, and the policy's now being clarified such that people, I think, now see exactly how it works, and it's to the betterment of the city. And the one thing that other people in the mall did say to me, they'd love to have another cafe or something in the mall. I said, that's a big problem.
Thank you, Alderman Mackenzie. Any other speakers? Alderman Finlay, wish to close?
We'll just close, and I'm not sure, I haven't seen it, but I know that in our conversations we were going through this, we were shared the process and the journey of consultation in the video, and that we've had some really powerful exchanges that we share with the community through video and storytelling, and we all agreed that that was actually a really useful way to demonstrate a shift in the way that we have conversations and that we consult with the community. So if there is a way that the elements of that are appropriate to share, I think that would be really useful. Oh, I haven't seen it.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please raise your hand. And that is all aldermen present. The motion is carried. 20.1, moved Deputy Mayor. Is there a seconder? Alderman Mackenzie. Do you wish to speak, Deputy Mayor?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Very important to note the detail of this one. I think I counted 18 pages or 17.5 pages of not just the item, some written notes, some detail. It's all there, and not that that should surprise us. Mr Gimple, Director Foster and their team have continued the good work in this area that Director Tidy used to do. We obviously love the detail being there, not just for aldermen around this table, but I guess for the general public who, when they're doing their diligence on the council, can jump online and it's there in black and white. It's crystal clear, explained, so people can follow the logic behind it. So it does say on page 79, it's necessary for council to approve all outstanding budget amendments after the statutory estimate. So I'm not going to add anything to reading out what's there because it's all there, but I just wanted to commend the team for the detail that's there. And once again, should anyone out there listening, Mr Mayor, or being present in this gallery at the moment, have any queries about this council, it's all there in black and white, and I'm sure if that question can't be easily found, there would be many within this council that would be happy to help people get that information. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Again, just following on from Alderman Soward, I think the key thing is that most of these elements are determination as to whether they're capital or operations, and when we do our budgets, we're not 100% sure whether they'll be a capital item or an operational item, so they're budgeted in that way. And for correct accounting purposes, we need where it's determined that these items are capital and they've been provided for in an operating budget, they need to be transferred from operating to capital and vice versa. So most of these elements are actually things that are in the budget, but they've just been in a different bucket that just need to be moved from one to the other. So I think it's important that it is, and as Alderman Soward said, very well and detailed information in relation to each of those adjustments.
Yep, thank you. Any other speakers? Alderman Deputy Mayor, you wish to close? I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please raise your hand. And that is all aldermen present. The motion is carried. 20.2, the annual plan progress. Moved, Alderman Mackenzie. Second, Alderman Finlay. Do you wish to speak, Alderman Mackenzie?
I think it's all there, Mr Mayor.
Alderman Finlay. Any other alderman wish to comment, speak, question? Alderman Gibson.
Forgive me if I can't see it. When I was looking through on the weekend, I couldn't see if the cultural, as in the cultural strategy, not the organisational cultural plan, had dropped off, or if it wasn't.
I thought I saw it there.
Did you? It's yes, no, it's there in terms of cultural review, but that's organisational.
No. Well, I thought I read it, but anyway. General Manager, wish to comment?
Fourth page, is it?
Yes. I've got to find it.
Page 9 now.
What page are we on?
No, but that's cultural as in organisational culture.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. The language is different. It is the cultural strategy. It is stating in cultural review but it certainly is the cultural strategy. That's what that's referring to. We're certainly working hard on it, so I want it to still be there.
So I think the thing that threw me was the word completed.
Basically, that's a multi-year project. So what they're saying is we're completed to that point that we, with the revision that we would get to in that year, and obviously we'll finish it this financial year.
Radio. Sure. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? I'll put the motion then. Those in favour? And that is all aldermen present. The motion is carried. Have a motion now. We're going to closed council. Moved Alderman Kendrick, seconded Deputy Mayor. That we're going to closed council. All those in favour? And that is all aldermen present. We are now will be in closed council.